Alright, deformation on a complex shape. Now, what'll happen here is you'll get a shape and it may be maybe it's complex or not complex, but it'll have a lot of vertices, and you're going to have a problem maybe where this goes into another form or another object and ties in with it, but it's not quite the correct shape. Let's say this loop is too big, or this box needs to be more oblong. Now, what I want to do is this is more of an organic coming off of a non-organic shape, which is kind of cool. But then it leads to problems kind of tweaking it a little bit. So let's look at some tools here. Let's look at animation, for example. Let's go into a side view or a front view. If I F on the keyboard, I'll zoom into this shape. And what I want to do here is create a lattice. Now, I probably use lattice about as much as I do the squared off box. It's a very cool tool to use when it comes down to it. So lattice square box. First off, let's start with a higher division. Let's go into 4, 4, 4. So these are divisions in X, Y, Z. And what I want to do is just create this lattice. And here's what it looks like in 3D view. It has this. Okay. And what's nice about this is, let's say I need to change the overall structure of this altogether. These are lattice points. I can right click on the lattice and I get lattice points, and I can now tweak these. And I can get something like this. And also, what's nice about it is I have them in XYZ, so I can choose these two, for example, and I can shrink these in. I can take these, pull them out, and I can get this very cool shape that has some good geometry on it. It's all quads. Now, another thing is, let's say I don't want to tweak the entire property of the device. So I'm going to duplicate this off, and that's how you do it. Let's say I have this piece of geometry, it's all tweaked out. If I delete this, it will actually go back to the same shape it was before. But what I do is I grab the geometry and duplicate it off, making a copy of it. And now I have this shape that I can play around with. Okay? So this shape, I'm saying, well, here, this loop is just too big. I can grab just the vertices that make up the loop and then go into lattice. And now this lattice only controls those. So I can shrink these down if I wanted to. I can scale them any which way. And it scaled them all axes. Okay? So that lattice tool, so useful. Can't even say how useful it is. Just very, very, very useful. And when I get done with it, again, Command D it to duplicate it. Now you can have several lattices, or lattices, or how do you ever say the plural of lattices, on the same device. So if I wanted to do all that onto the same one, I could highlight all these vertices here and on this curve, and then attach the lattice there. So I wouldn't have to duplicate it off. I just get into the habit of getting what I want first, duplicating it, tweaking it some more, duplicating it, and you'll see me working a lot with a very long chain of things, because what I'll do is I'll always have an undo to a back point. Maybe I say, well, this one looks good, but what I want is really something like this, and I can take in parts off of this one and put it on this one, which is what I want to show you in the next video, is how to take parts off a very complex shape and then add to those parts as and make them into subparts. Okay, so that's in the next video.